All right, we are live. Okay, you guys, I'm back and I want to talk to you about this past weekend's Super Bowl halftime show. Were you there? Did you see it? Did you feel triggered or transformed? Did you choose love over hate? Look, wherever you're at, I get it. I've probably been there. I'm pretty sure I have. But this is going to allow us to reflect and open up and find out what it is that is bothering us so much. So, before we talk about the Super Bowl halftime show, I want to ask you something. When you watched it, or maybe when you heard about it, were you triggered or were you transformed? I want you to reflect on that. So, did you feel proud, inspired, uncomfortable, offended, confused, defensive? Because here's what I know: cultural moments don't just reveal culture, they reveal us. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that. They reveal us. So, hey everyone, I'm Francine Ayala, and welcome back to You Are Meant for More. I'm here to talk to you about the human experience through faith, healing, and emotional awareness, you guys. Last Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show became one of the most talked about cultural movements and moments of the year. Not just because of the game itself. Obviously, if you saw the game, you're like, I mean, the halftime show was a lot better than the actual game, and I don't watch football, but I did watch this one. I was home, so I was like, okay, why not? So, what was meant to be entertainment sparked passionate reactions, national conversation, and a wide range of emotions across the country. You guys, I'm telling you, on Monday, I woke up, got into social media to see how my videos were doing my content because I'm working on with my content manager to make sure things are running smoothly. And of course, we respond back to comments and things like that. Well, everyone had an opinion. I was like, whoa. And doing the work that I do, I take on emotions. So I take on the emotions. That's why I emphasize how important it is to stay connected and stay grounded to who you are through God, through a mentor, through a coach. You never want to be distracted or involved in somebody else's emotions. Like, I'm blown away at the coaches, at the leaders, at the directors that I'm seeing out there that are posting things that are just angry motivated. I mean, their words and everything, and I'm just like, how are you a coach teaching people how to live their best life? Or you do you know what I mean? I'm just like, I just can't. Now, granted, there's no judgment. It's just like I tell people, I go, if you ever see me angry or if you ever see me bothered, I'm honestly just frustrated because I want so much more for people. But guess what? I have to break down the interior and exterior of them to get down to the root of why they're hurt in the first place. And guess who also went through that? Yours truly. I went through it all. So again, I'm here to just share with you that there's just so much more for you out there. So don't be swayed. Don't be affected by what people say or do. And it sits heavy with me because, like I said, it's I laugh because I have conversations with my God, and it's just like, do you know how many times God has shook his head at me like, hi Francine. Yes. And I get it. I know. Believe me, I know. I've ran for many years. And the thing is, I see that in other people. And so like I sit back if you ever see me irritated or mad or something, in where I react to someone's post or I'm shaking my head. And again, it's not judgment. I I've lost the whole thought process of judgment because believe me, I've been judged. And that's not what I'm here for. It's just I know there's so much more out there. And I know there's so much that people can feel, have that fulfillment of love in their life if they just allow themselves. So bear with me. Okay, grab your pen, your paper, your journal. We are going to dive into this. This is where we get to really understand the human behavior, yours, the person you're talking to, your boss, your mentor, your friends, anybody that you associate with. Everyone has their human behavior. There's a roadmap within them. They only know what they know, and they're going to respond accordingly. All of us. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab my notes again because there's a lot, you guys, that I want to share with you. And bear with me. I'm not going to have a guest for the Amplify Your Voice segment because this was powerful to share today. We have to be reflective so that we are progressing forward and we're not falling back into old patterns of ourselves. Okay. All right. So remember, everybody saw this national conversation and a wide range of emotions across this country. Some saw it as beautiful, others felt hurt. Some were proud, others were confused. And today, like, we're not taking sides, nor have I ever. We're choosing love over hate. And I want to break this down for you guys, why people are responding the way they are. Okay, so let's start here. Why can the exact same performance feel joyful to one person, offensive to another, empowering to some, unsettling to others? Because we don't watch culture objectively. We watch it through our upbringing, our faith lens, our lived experience, our sense of belonging, our wounds. We watch it through other people's opinions as well. And that hits deep. Yeah, we actually care what other people think. So if they're huffing and puffing about what this means to them, we're huffing and puffing. This is all taught behavior. And we as adults get to choose how we want to move forward as a person, as a human, as someone with dignity, honor, and respect. Okay? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what somebody else is, I should say, somebody else thinks. It matters who you are at the deep root part of your soul. Who do you want to be? That's how you get to show up. Okay, so what feels like an attack to one person may feel like affirmation to another. Okay, so I had to speak on this because there were so many amazing references in this performance that I wanted to break down too from my own experience. Now, granted, if you're someone who grew up here, not knowing, not being from another country, but you actually, or your parents not being from another country, I almost feel like everybody's parents were from another country because we can go way back. But really understanding, I guess I can say, your roots. So just like where you came from. I mean, people came from Europe. People came from parts of Europe like Spain and England, and other people that I met from Italy. I met people from Dublin, Ireland. I met people from Australia. And then, of course, there's so many Hispanic people that are here. And my background, my dad is from El Salvador. My mom, fourth generation from Sonora, Mexico. So I was born here. So was my mom, but my dad wasn't. So it's like we all started somewhere, right? We all just didn't like come up from these grounds and be like, we're here, but our families had a start somewhere. Okay. And so in order to kind of see that progression, we got to like enjoy it through this process of somebody coming from growing up you know, from the background of like having to make it in life or in business, and having them on one of the biggest stages all over the world to share their passion and their love. We're going to break it down, I promise. But I just want to be here to tell you guys that it's coming from a place of love. Okay? So let's dive in. I want you to really understand this because I have a couple questions for you to ask yourself. So if you're joining me live, sorry, I went off on a tangent. Let me know you're here, or even if you're on replay, let me know. And let me know what sits with you. What is it that you're feeling, experiencing? What questions you have? Like, I want to break those down for you. Okay? And I'm sorry, I'm just going to be a talking head today. I have one image to share with you guys, but bear with me. Okay? I want you to be able to understand other people, because when you start to break this down for yourself and understand how you maneuver, you can then understand how other people think as well. Okay? Sound good? Stick with me. Okay. So what feels, like I said, what feels like an attack to one person may feel like an affirmation to another, right? So representation hits differently depending on whether you felt seen or unseen, I should say, or overexposed. Art is not neutral. It carries identity, and identity is emotional. And that's where it hit me personally, because through the different areas of what he was sharing. And actually, this is a great time for me to pull up the image. So I'm going to go ahead and share the image really quick. So what he was sharing is like, if you kind of break down just this image, and I got it from Yahoo News, and photo credit is Kevin Mazur with Getty Images. But breaking down this image, he's standing on top of like a casita, a house, in the Spanish language. And it's very decorated, and around him are tons of like sugar canes, that maybe came from where Puerto Rico, sorry, I forgot this image was only shown on for a certain amount of time. And it's showing his heritage, his culture. And I love that, because hopefully this year or next year I'm going to go to where my dad was born, in El Salvador. I'd love to visit, and see where my roots were. And if you see also in the background, you had several like Latina and Latino type of actors, singers, and just being able to be on a stage where they feel so proud to be an American, to be in a space where they get to celebrate each other, celebrate their accomplishments, celebrate life. Okay. And it was just a beautiful moment to see. Now, I didn't grab all of the images because we have to give all the credit, which I don't mind, but it's very time consuming to do. And I want to just specify, like, there was an image of a little boy laying on chairs at a party. And it's so funny because I remember growing up like that, where, kids were falling asleep on the chairs while the parents were still, celebrating. Or there was the moment where Bad Bunny gave his Grammy Award to a little boy that was watching him on TV. And that was powerful, because I don't know about you, but I hope you had big dreams, and you still have big dreams now. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actress so bad. I wanted to be in front of that camera. I knew how to act. I knew I was going to make it work. I knew I was going to just change people's lives through my acting, right? And I just remember thinking, oh, one day I'm going to win an Oscar. I mean, how many times have you thought of that? Now, granted, my life took a different direction, which is completely fine. Actually, that's another story. I didn't want to deal with all the traffic, so I never like pushed to do it. Just so you know, that's why I didn't chase acting, because it was just tons of like, you got to like be in traffic all day for auditions, for this, for that. And I was just like, yeah, I'm good. I honestly was fine. But I love what I do now, So it's like I had a different plan and purpose in my life. But I'm just saying, if you ever dreamt of that, a dream to have and to be able to share it and experience it, that was huge. For him to share his culture, and then to come together in love. Together we are America was one of his messages at the end. And that was beautiful. And then a message love over hate. It's always about that. Always. No matter who you voted for, no matter whose beliefs you believe in, because you know why people are so angry? It's because of the human experience that they're receiving. So, for example, there's someone in office that is spewing a lot of hate, not love. And so, what happens is everybody feeds off that energy. But why feed off that energy when you can stay grounded in who you are through love? Never feed off energy of somebody else. It'll only make you angrier. And that's where the devil gets in. And you never want that. Because once you turn to anger, darkness has total control over you. And that's why I'm not in alignment with so many people posting these hateful rhetorics out there of just like being so angry and upset and mad. And it's just like, you have to understand that it comes from within. So if you're mad at somebody because they're doing this, this, and that, where are you in your life where you maybe aren't doing this, this, and that? It's always a reflection back. And like so many people are like, no, I can never be like him. And the thing is, we will always look at somebody with maybe hate or frustration or anger because of something we're internally frustrated or angry with. So it does come back to us. And I always tell people, don't hold on to that because eventually it'll affect you medically. You do not want that. It can affect you, okay? In some way, shape, or form. I'm telling you, it's definitely out there. It's psychology. And so look into spiritual psychology and how it affects the body, okay? That's all I'm going to say. No medical advice here. Okay, so let me pull up my notes again. Okay, so representation is powerful. For some people, the halftime show felt like a celebration, visibility, pride. Oh, yes. Validation, again, that validation that we matter. Another thing, I don't know if I ever shared with you guys, and I mean, I'm sure I have, but like if you're new to the show, my last name is Ayala. Ayala. Like if you say it right, I've heard Ayala, Ayala, Ayala. I've heard it so many different ways, and it's actually Ayala. And so I remember wanting to be an actress and being like, what would I have to change my name to? Isn't that crazy? And now it's like, no, you can be who you are. Now, granted, like I think I'd still want a name that would flow a little bit better. But no, I'm all for the fact that I have that opportunity now. If I ever decide I want to go after that dream of when I was a little girl, then I don't have any fear of like, I can't do it because my name is Hispanic or Latina or whatever, So it's like never feel like you can't chase a dream that you have. Okay. All right. So maybe for others, it felt like discomfort, misalignment with values, cultural confusion, or even spiritual tension. And both reactions can be real. So, like I had mentioned, he brought in the casita area, the plastic chairs, were just like a visual, prominent feature that, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to a lot of Latino parties, they have plastic chairs everywhere. That's the thing. It's like those were those comfortable chairs. They showed the sugarcane fields, that was, the imagery from Puerto Rican landscape. I've never been there, but I've seen pictures and it's beautiful history of agriculture. There were domino players, people playing dominoes in the street, which were like a staple of the game of Puerto Rico, or one of the games that they play. And I thought that was really profound. I thought that was beautiful to see. It was an opportunity for us to see a culture that we may or may not have experienced. There were power line blackouts. So like during the song El Apagan, the blackout performers, like surrounded by like sparking electric poles, represented the island's damaged electrical grid. Like, he put some history in there of like things that have happened in the past. Rebuilding and female labor, a scene where featuring female workers beside, cinder blocks, representing the rebuilding efforts after Hurricane Maria and like pretty much wiped out a lot of Puerto Rico, and women were spearheading the recovery. How powerful is that, you guys? That he was showcasing women spearheading that recovery process. I love that. And the light blue flag, Bad Bunny waved the Puerto Rican flag with a light blue triangle, a symbol of their independence and resistance. And then the nail salon scene, and of course, it's like the tipping of the hat, to local culture where style, gossip, and community intersect. And then the real wedding, how cool was that? A wedding was officiated live on stage, emphasizing community, love, and life, rather than just celebrity status. He brought in somebody from Via's Tacos. I've been to Via's Tacos over there at the Grand Central Market. And they started out in Huntington Park just with a taco truck outside their house, you guys. So just to even showcase local businesses and the community, from what I heard, this couple, I had read about it, this couple that did their live wedding had a couple of invitations left over. And so they sent them to a couple of, I want to say businesses. And they're like, why don't we send it to Bad Bunny? And invited them. And guess what? He invited them to his show. He invited them to his show. How profound was that? That he just opened up that spotlight for them. How beautiful. And then the Ocasio shirt, a heartfelt tribute to his uncle, featuring his last name Ocasio and birth year of 64, honoring his personal roots. And then, of course, Together We Are America football, a message of unity for the entire American continent. And I love how he called out all of the Latino countries. He included, we are all together because we come from all over the world. And that's why I love America so much, is because we're so culturally diverse. So I'm like, this tug of war of this love and versus hate and this light and darkness is just, it's getting overwhelming for so many people. And that's why I had to come to you all today to stay grounded. Stay grounded in him. Stay grounded in where you're at. And you got to work on this. If it's still triggering you, if it's still emotionally regulating who you are, then we got to talk. We got to dive into why it continues to have you feeling that it's giving you a type of either anger, frustration, anything like that, and it could be you see somebody else responding and it makes you mad. But see, then that's also internal work. Why is it making you mad? Okay, so let me go ahead and get some questions down. Okay, so when identity is activated, emotions flow. Because identity is tied to safety, belonging, faith, community, and heritage. And when something feels like it's threatening your identity, even symbolically, the nervous system reacts. So you jump in right away and like, wow, that's not me. That's, this person. How many times have you said that? That's not me. It's them. Because something affected you. There was an emotional charge that affected your safety, your belonging, your identity, your faith, your community, your heritage. And when something feels like it threatens identity, like I said, it's going to affect the nervous system. And it's always going to respond in a way of protection. That's your subconscious mind wiring. Okay, so when we react quickly, it's usually not about the event. It's about what it represents, what it reminds us of, what it threatens, what it affirms. That knee-jerk reaction often comes from fear of change, fear of erasure, fear of losing influence, fear of disrespect, or fear of being left out. But they can also come from pride, relief, and joy, and long-awaited recognition. So triggered sometimes doesn't mean evil. It means it's activated. And activation isn't a sin, it's a signal. But you get to look at it and find out what it is. So the question is, what do you do with it? As believers, we're called to something higher. You guys all know this. We're called. We are all called. It's just up to us if we want to respond, right? He does. He gives us free will. Do we want to respond to it? I don't know. Let's see how I feel today. Believe me, if you're here that if you felt that, let me know, because I know where you guys are at. All right. So as believers, we are called to something higher, not silence, not passivity, but maturity. You can, and you will hold your convictions, stay grounded in faith, maintain your values without dehumanizing others, mocking what you don't understand, and escalating division. Faith is not fragile, because when faith is secure, it doesn't need to scream. It can stand calmly in the middle of tension. And you guys, I saw something on the internet today, on actually Facebook today. And it was an image, like, you have no idea, of course, like with all the AI stuff going around, I use it to my advantage to help me strategize for all areas of my life. I love it so much. But there's also that opportunity to come up with fake stuff that is not real. So somebody had posted something today, and it was a picture of a representative. I don't even know who the woman was, or is. And all it showed was like, it showed like a reference. And it was like apparently quotations of this woman saying, Jesus spoke English because he wrote the Bible in English. Anyways, it was just off the wall type of thing. And this person labeled like a news channel and this person, and I'm like, that's not real. Like, but like what happened was the post said, are these people, how can these people be this stupid? Okay, so what did that do? You're dehumanizing someone. You're calling them stupid. So what about you, of that person that's posting this, is triggered by this message or activated? What about that message activated something inside of them? Where did they feel bothered? Okay. By the way, that wasn't true. I went and searched the source. Fake news. It literally said, it was by Reuters, and it just said this claim is false. And I was like, wow. But you see, like, people, not you, people will see something and they'll just take it and run with it. Like, oh my goodness, look at this. This person is this person is that. Now, granted, are there people out there that shouldn't have large platforms and share mean things? Yes. We see it all the time. But it's just, it's one of those, they don't know any better. And it's really sad because it all starts from birth. They're taught, they're guided into a type of way of being. It's all psychology. It literally is all psychology. And to dehumanize others is not a godly way. It's not a spiritual way. It's not. And it's really sad. It's sad to see. And it's sad to see all the people that are being torn apart because of it. But if you're like one more person out there that can understand love over hate, can understand and really change the narrative of who you are and how you get to show up in the space of others so that they feel the love and they feel God's peace and presence because of you. I did what I came here to do. And I'm grateful and honored that God will continue to use me to do that. Because it's just, there's so much out there, you guys. And honestly, I can't do it alone. I know my friends and, you know, the people that are there sharing God's love. Can't do it alone. There's just a massive amount of people that we need to share his message and his love. It's definitely something that I've ran away from for so long. So looking out to you guys to be there with me, okay? So bear with me as we finish up in this segment. But again, understand people where they're at. So love those in your life for who they are and where they're at the moment. They don't know what they don't know, and you get to be the love and the light for them if they're in a place of darkness. Okay? All right. So remember, faith is not fragile. When faith is secure, it doesn't need to scream. It can stand calmly in the middle of tension. So here's the real invitation. Were you triggered or activated from the Super Bowl performance? Or I should say the halftime performance. Or were you transformed? Triggered looks like defensiveness, social media arguments, harsh commentary, us versus them language. Transformed looks like reflection, curiosity, self-examination, emotional regulation. The world doesn't need louder opinions. It needs regulated leaders. It needs people who say, I don't agree, but I refuse to hate. That's powerful, you guys. If you can turn around and say, I don't agree, but I refuse to hate. That is where true transformation begins. Unity does not mean uniformity. You can love deeply, stand firmly, disagree respectfully without compromising your faith. Unity is not pretending differences don't exist. It's refusing to weaponize them. Love over hate does not mean agreeing with everything. It means choosing compassion over condemnation. So whether you've loved the halftime show, felt unsure about it, or experienced mixed emotions, this conversation is for you. This is about emotional maturity. This is about the faith in culture. This is about choosing transformation over triggering or activation. If this stirred something in you, if you want to grow in emotional regulation, clarity, and spiritual alignment, then definitely be part of the next self-love mastermind that's coming out on Sunday, March 8th, I want to say. So that is the next time I'm going to be hosting it, you guys. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I'm here for it. I'm here to help, I'm here to help leaders emotionally regulate their arena, the people around them, how they show up in this world, how they maneuver, how they get to respond to situations or people. You can stand firm in who you are and be grounded in God's love and know how to respond versus react and have compassion for those who don't share the same type of understanding like you. You still get to show them love. You still get to show them understanding because you know that they only know what they know. Okay? But see, when you're able to control your emotions around everybody's opinion or responses to anger and frustration, that is a game changer. You don't react, you reflect about why that made you feel the way it did. So anytime anything ever affects me, and if it bothers me to a point where I'm just like, that really bothered me. Why? I always ask within, why did that bother me? And then I'll figure it out. Be like, oh, I know why. And it's usually linked to a past emotion, a past experience that I've been feeling. So again, everything is within. And I really want you to work on that. All right, you guys, I dropped the link to the mastermind. That's going to be on Sunday, March 8th, more details, you can always, like I said, visit francineayala.com, and then, you know, the mastermind will be there. And also you can subscribe for newsletters and things coming out soon. So, all right, you guys. I mean, if you're joining me live, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. What's something that has come up for you maybe over the last couple days since you've seen the show, or maybe you're barely going to see it and you don't know what everybody's talking about. But again, I just want to emphasize that it's okay if you go through a process of not knowing. All right, let's see. Okay, Will, faith is what gives hope when all is shattered or feels like everything is gone. Yes, it is. Faith holds you grounded in everything that you do in life. When you don't have faith, you have fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what can happen or what, you know, can't happen, or you hold yourself back. And I had to learn the hard way, you guys, because I ran so many times and that was the fear in me. But as soon as I started standing ground in who I was and who God had positioned me to be, everything changed. Everything allowed me to move in a different way. So thank you, Will, for sharing. I appreciate that. So, yep, faith over fear, you guys. You can definitely do it. You just have to be willing. Like today I had a conversation, you know, with my son, and who is about to be 30 in 5 more days. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't. So, yes, he's about to be 30, and I don't look like I have a 30-year-old. I know. It's all good though. And so we're going to take him somewhere amazing. And if you follow me on social media, you get to see all the amazing things we're going to do with him. It's going to be so fun. But it's a surprise. He knows very little details, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. But if you are here, like I said, I am open to questions. And, you know, if you're watching on E360, thank you for joining in this conversation. I know it's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot to take in, especially with the emotional regulation portion, because it can feel heavy, you know, because different things may come up for you. But if you're really looking forward to that transformation of like really getting to know who you are and how you want to move forward, how you want to be, how you want to show up in your confidence around people, in chasing that job you're going after, or being in relationships and friendships, then definitely take the time to understand you. Take the time to understand where you're at in your own personal journey of self-growth and growth mindset. Okay? Sorry, give me 1 second. You guys, everybody's been getting sick. This cold has been going around, and I think it has a lot to do with allergies. But yeah, I just, you know, I had to come in here and share from a place of love, and, you know, a couple other things I wanted to share, and I figured I'd share if we had time, which we do, which is good, is during this presentation, Lady Gaga came in, and that was such a great surprise. She sang Die with a Smile, the one she does with Bruno Mars, and she did it in like a salsa type of, you know, cumbia style, and I loved it. I was like, oh, one of my favorite songs, and she did it justice in this performance. And then, you know, just to see the different, you know, things going around, and I don't know if you guys knew, but those little sugar canes standing in the background were actually people. I didn't see it until after the fact. Like, they didn't move, nothing, but like those things, people were actually in these. And I found that so funny and fun, I should say, not even funny, just fun, that it was kind of like silly and fun in the process of making this all happen. And so, you know, I really hope you guys enjoyed the experience, and I want to hear from you. I do. I want to hear from you to know what it is that how you felt about it. Now, granted, let me bring this up because some people talked about, the vulgarity that he uses in his language and things like that. And to be clear, I should preface this too. I'm not a fluent speaker of the language, and I'm not a huge fan of his to an extent because I don't listen to his style of music. Maybe because I'm older, but what I do appreciate about him is that his music is kind of catchy, like it makes you want to dance. And so I totally respect him as an artist, as a person. I'm just not a fan of the music that I would be going to his concert and, buying his CDs, or I said CDs. Yes, I did. I just dated myself. Or actually, I didn't even date myself. I should have said cassettes. That would have really dated me. But, again, to honor somebody's legacy and to be in celebratory position to share that, what he did was very profound. So as I mentioned, his vulgarity and his language and things like that, it's an art, it's a style. People have been doing it for years. Now, granted, was it kid friendly? Probably not. So I know there was, some parents that were not a fan of that, which I understand. I can understand, coming as a parent. My child, of course, is going to be 30, not a child anymore. So I understand that component. But like I said, for us all to appreciate and celebrate the success that he's been able to accomplish because he chased a dream is what it was all about. We got to see this experience of his culture and, how he brought his own experiences of growing up in Puerto Rico to be able to shine for everyone to see. So like, people can look up and say, hey, I could do that one day, coming from another country and things like that. So everybody, we all know that everybody chases the American dream. And, born here and, growing up here, I always wanted to get out. And not that I would, obviously I love it here, but not, I wanted to get out, meaning I always wanted to travel. Like I'm that person. I literally sent something recently to my boyfriend that said that I said, I'm that my toxic trait is that I love staying home, but I can't wait to leave the country. That is seriously me. As you get older, you start to realize that you just feel so much comfortable, like in your space. And as I mentioned earlier, you guys, I tend to pick up a lot of energies. And so if there's this like negative energy around me, I don't want to be around it. I can't be around big crowds or anything like that because of the energy that is put off. Now, granted, some of it's fine, but there's also like you're dealing with people and their energies. So it's like, there's the very, high energy, there's the very low energy, there's the, it just, everybody comes in differently. So there's only so many people, so many places I can go that I'm able to control the amount of energies I'm around. So that's why like isolating or being home is nice for me because I love it. Now, granted, I did say this year would be the year I got out more, which I did. I went to go support my friend in her business. So like she got a I'm like, I should have shared her picture, but she got let me take this off. She got an award for not an award. She did her ribbon cutting for her business at the local Whittier area Chamber of Commerce. And so I went out there to support her because you guys, I'm all about supporting women in business and men, of course. So if you ever invite me to like your ribbon cutting or anything like that, and if I have the availability, I will come. And because I'm all about celebrating people who have their own businesses. And she had come on board with me as a member of our community a couple years ago. And so I always will cherish those who have been part of my business. I'm always so grateful to them. And we've built this community of love and trust. And so definitely honored to have been working closely with her. And now I got to support her in her new adventure into the Whittier area with her business. So one of these days I will have her on as a guest so that she can share her story. Because again, we all start somewhere, you guys. And that's what today's message was about, was to really show the love and honor of somebody who started from the ground up and chased a dream. And I want you to just reflect on anything that maybe have bothered you, or you saw other people get triggered or activated in the process of this controversial message that is the Bad Bunny halftime show. So how many of you were dancing? I'm like, I remember I was just like there. I was like, yeah, I love the dancing. I was like excited to see it go down. So thank you guys for joining in this conversation with me. I appreciate you. I came on here to just share this topic and really understanding where people are in the human experience and the human behavior. So I appreciate you for coming, for sticking around. If you stuck around, I adore you. I know it's a lot to take in when the show lasts for about 45 minutes. So I know it's a lot, and I don't take it lightly that you stayed here on your time. So truly honored and appreciated that you took the time to do that. So, and if you're catching this on replay, or if you caught a portion of it, just let me know. Let me know what's going on, how you're feeling about this whole process of people acting the way they do. I want to support you where you're at, as you know this, you guys. So stay connected with me on any social media platform, you guys. If you have any questions, definitely send me a DM, shoot me an email, however you want to stay connected. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of You Are Meant for More. So make sure you send in your topic requests. What is it you want to see, hear, know, that you want me to share on the next show or a future show? I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys again for being here. And I will see you next week on the live show. So take care. Know that you are blessed, you are loved, and you truly are meant for more. And I know I had a closing word, so I'm going to bring up my notes one more time. Okay, lastly, I want to say this world is loud, but you don't have to be. Choose love, choose maturity, choose compassion, because you are truly meant for more. All right, you guys, stay blessed. I love you all. Okay, take care. Bye.